I was wondering what you saw on the freshman defenders that played extensive snaps against Notre Dame. And in particular, in detail, could you see what you saw on tape from like Des Evans and Miles Murphy, who are certainly emerging as of late? Thank you.
Yeah. Ross, I appreciate you going first this week.
Yeah. Anything for you, Jay?
Thanks. So, yeah, I think Miles Murphy is really, really playing well. And I think Tim Cross has done a really good job with him. Obviously he's got a cast on, which affects him a little bit, but we really can put Miles in and not worry about any calls. He can go in, and I don't have to say, it's not one of those deals like, hey, Miles is in, keep it kind of base, So I think a tribute to that kid for working so hard. I thought Kamen Rucker played really well. When he was in there, made some tackles, and and I think he gives us a little bit different, edge rush than some of the other guys. Obviously, Dez had a sack. I thought he played really well. We asked him to do a lot. He was doing more linebacker than he's ever probably done in his life, and I think he's continuing to improve. And then I think Clyde Pender played really well when he was in. So I think those front four kids are really doing a good job. And when I get asked about him, I don't want to forget about my man, KJ, Bingley Jones, who looks like $1 million right now. So I think when we get him back in the spring, we got a really, really good group of young kids.
Is KJ playing or practicing with y'all at all or anything? Or
no, I mean, he's still rehabbing and doing that stuff, but man, he looks great.
And then with Dez, I mean, seeing what he can do with that length, I mean, how excited does that make you as a coordinator, seeing that in a game? And
yeah, no, I mean, I've been excited about him for a long time, but he works really hard. He's going to keep playing more and more, and I think he has got a really, really bright future.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go back over to Andrew Jones.
Hey, Coach, staying on Des Evans, are you seeing the weight training getting stronger, starting to pay off in some of his reps in games?
Yeah, I mean, he is he's a lot heavier, bigger kid than he was when he first got here. And it's a tribute to Brian Hess and those guys in the weight room and how hard Des has worked. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what he weighs, but I mean, he's got to be, I would say, around 260 right now. And he's a really, he's going to play a lot of football here.
Kevin Hester got a decent number of reps against State, and then the other day. How is he coming along? I know he was a little bit of a project for you last year. So kind of where is he stand? How much has he developed since you guys got him?
Yeah, I forget about him sometimes because he's a redshirt freshman, but I mean, Kevin Hester's huge. So, when we signed him, he played 1 year of high school football and he was about 260. Now he's about 320, so, he really, when we put him in the game, we can really put some big people in the game right now. And I think we did that some on Saturday, and I think it really helped us. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate
it. Kevin's doing, I mean, he is really coming along really well.
One more quick question on him. Football instincts. Sometimes coaches say when they get a guy who hasn't played much, it's actually good because they don't have a lot of bad habits that they have to fix. With Kevin, how is he developing his football instincts?
Yeah, I think that is very noticeable with him. Certain things like, hey, look where the running back's aligned. Which way is the run going now? Some of those things are, he was a little bit of a blank slate when he got here, but he's getting more reps. And I think with all those kids, the more reps they get, the better they're going to get.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, JB Ricks, go ahead.
Coach Bateman, thank you so much for taking out the time this morning. I just have more of a general question in regards to what you feel like your defense did right compared to what they didn't do right in the Virginia game, and how do you carry that momentum, into the Wake Forest game, who has a very versatile offense?
Sure. I told Coach Brown on Sunday, I felt like it was the first game in a while, even against NC State, there were a lot of plays where, we weren't exactly the way we want to be. And, I felt like it was the first game where, when mistakes happened, and give Duke credit too, right? When, sometimes it was good play calls and good execution by them, but our kids knew exactly how to, what the problem was. And I think that was the thing I took away from it the best. I also think, I thought we were really efficient in the run game. We had three big ones that I would like to take back. We kind of knew going in, that's, how Duke kind of operates, they pop some big ones on you. Obviously the last one, the one that made it 17 was one I'd like to have back, but I thought our run defense was really efficient, and I think that'll be really important against Wake, because Wake's a really good offense.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go back to Greg Barnes.
Good morning, Jay. Mac talked about the challenge in getting the players to learn as much from wins as they do from losses. Just curious your perspective on that.
Yeah, I think that's the mark of a good program, is when you can get coached really hard and learn a lesson when you still get a win. And I think we're making that. I think we're certainly have improved on that from when I first got here. When I first got here, it was like we win and we wouldn't play very good. And they were like, Coach, what are you worried about? We won. Like, well, because, dude, like the next time it's not going to happen this way. So I feel like some of our young kids understand that more. And I you hear all the time, lose small, win small. I think we're at a point now where, like, we've won some games by some points when we've been able to play some of these other kids in the game. Now it's time to go learn from the losses, learn from mistakes, and apply it, even though you didn't necessarily give up a touchdown or a huge play or whatever. And I do believe we're seeing more of that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, let's go back over to Taylor Vipolis.
Coach, the secondary had a great game in coverage against Duke with no Kyler, no Storm. What have you seen from Dre specifically to always have that next corner ready?
You mean from Coach Bly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I think he's got some talented guys, and he kind of took some lumps a year ago with all the different guys that had to play that maybe weren't quite ready. Like before the game, I went up to Hollins, and I said, "How much better a player are you than you were last year at this point?" And he was like 1,000%, and I'm like, and he's probably right. I mean, 1,000% is a big improvement, but he is so much better than he was a year ago. And so I think part of it is to attribute to those kids, and competition solves a lot of problems, right? So now you look around, if you're Storm Duck, you're looking around and saying, man, I better get back quick, because and I do think Patrice has really, got back into the swing of things better now than he was early in the season. So I think we've got a lot of talent out there in the secondary, and it makes it fun to go to practice and see them compete.
Thank you.
Yeah, but Dre, you kind of asked about Dre. Dre's done a great job with them, and I think he feeds that competitive. He's a very competitive dude, and he feeds that competitiveness with them. That I think they really respect him, and he says things. It echoes with that group. So he's done a great job with them and getting those guys ready.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, let's go to Gregory Hall.
Jay, what have you seen on film that allows Sam Hartman to be so successful?
I think Sam's really talented. I mean, he won the job a couple years ago, and I thought Jamie Newman was a great player. So I think what I see from him, I think he's extremely accurate. I think he's very knowledgeable about what they ask him to do. I think they have a really unique, offensive kind of attack, and he does a really good job executing it. And I think he's really, really accurate. And so it's going to be a challenge for us. I think he's a really good player. I've known him for a long time. I've known him since he played for Coach Greer at Davidson Day. So he's a really good player.
All right, let's move over to Luke Buxton. Luke, go ahead.
Coach, obviously the run game as our run defense has been a big talking point this season with the defense. When you have two backs like Javonte and Mike, and you get to use them in practice, how much competition is there between the offense and defense? From my understanding, it's kind of split up most of the time. Is there any challenges where the defense gets to experience trying to play against those two backs in preparation for when they go against other good backs in games?
So the first thing, Luke, is Phil Longo and Mac Brown do not let us tackle those two guys. All right, so let's get that straight. All right, we don't get to tackle those guys. But so I tell you what we do a lot is we will say to our defenders, hey, look, if you can leverage Javonte and leverage Mike in the run game, then why can't you leverage some of these other guys? So sure, there's definitely, there's definitely a sense of, hey, look, we're competing against a really, really, really good unit when we go against our offensive line and our running backs for sure. I think my favorite period of practice every week is inside run on Tuesdays, right? We get to go against our offense, and they run their plays, we run our defense, and we got to go you know, it's 16 plays and it's really competitive. That, you know, I think that's where we try to get better every week.
Thanks, George.
Yep.
All right, we'll close up today with Adam Smith. Go ahead, Adam.
I tell you what, to what do I owe this honor? Here we go.
Hey, Jay. How do you approach facing off against Warren Ruggiero, your old friend? I guess it's accurate to call him your old friend. I don't know.
Sure.
But how do you approach that matchup, and do you look forward to it, or do you dread it?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the competition part of it. I think Warren's a tremendous football coach, you know, and when we worked together, when we worked at Elon together, we lived 4 houses down from each other, and our wives are great friends. And so, yeah, I look forward to the challenge. He's done a great job. I think defensively, you know, kind of what I do has morphed, and I think offensively, kind of what he's done has morphed from when we were at Elon together. But he's a tremendous football coach. It's gonna be a real challenge.
I was going to ask you that. So when you dig into Wake now, you see different things than you did maybe 10 years ago when you were trying to screw him up in practice? Yeah,
I think there's a significant difference from what he used to do there. You know, what they do at Wake offensively is pretty unique, and I give Warren a lot of credit for that. I mean, it's, you know, he's done a really good job, and you know, the run game is very different. But I mean, certainly the attacking mindset, certainly the very knowledgeable pass game is still the same. But I think, you know, what he's done with the tempo and the run game is a little bit different.